this week we thought it would be nice to talk about discrimination, particularly with reference to the book that you wrote about Viveka Choodamani, Adi Shankaracharya's teaching. I wondered whether first perhaps it would be good if Babaji talked about this term, Viveka Choodamani.
The term Viveka is application of intelligence, wisdom, proper wisdom. And Choodamani is the jewel. It's a jewel. So that is why Crest-Jewel of Discrimination. It is also known as, this book is also known as Crest-Jewel of Discrimination. So Viveka, so where you apply your wisdom and try to think in a proper way about the dualities, about good and which is bad, about the right and which is wrong, and permanent and impermanent, like that. That's what is Viveka Choodamani.
So the task of discrimination is discrimination between the real and the unreal. But what is the real? What is unreal? And how can we discriminate between them?
We have to think in the sense of a permanent existence which shall not disappear or go, which shall not get into the act of nothingness, which will always be there as eternal. That is the permanent entity. And now, like, for example, as a child, the thoughts came to me, if there is happiness, it must be there permanently at all times, like 12 months or 24 hours. If there is total happiness is not there at all times, then what is the truth? What makes it not to have that happiness? Sometimes we seem to have happiness, excitement, enjoy. Sometimes an unknown fear, and there's some pain or some unknown anxiousness, all these things. What is the reason for these things? That is how the discrimination starts. So in other way, I have also told in the previous earlier years of my started of traveling, when the world was bothering about astronomy, sun, moon, earth and all these existence and stars and so many other things of the world, there was some great wise people who are in India, in this Indian subcontinent, which is known as the Rigvedic era. So they bothered about self, our own self. How do we exist? Are we born with this body, or are we going to die with this body and finish extinct? Or is this body me? How can this be me? From where is this I arising? So that type of discrimination they try to do. And that's how one after another the wisdom application happens and the discrimination. Then it tries to know, how can we know about this? So to know this, anything, you have to observe. So if you want to know what I am talking, you have to pay attention to me mentally, not only simply through the eyes. So that is how the next application of the wisdom happens. So that is what they evolved, meditation perhaps. Observe, let us observe. So let us see. First, let us try to locate this consciousness of existence, they thought. Prajna is the word in Sanskrit used, which we call it as consciousness. Consciousness, conscious awareness or consciousness. Consciousness is the thing which gives us an awareness. So to know where this I is, how this I exists, let us try to observe from wherever this I feeling is coming. That thing naturally is there, though nobody bothers to observe that one easily. But everybody can try to look into that fact. Where is it? So that is how the meditation starts. That's how they slowly went deeply into this and discovered the truth about consciousness, mind, and self. So that is how the discrimination has to start. So for any subject, now what is terrorism and what is the defending a country? What is the difference? And who is a terrorist? Who is a good man? Who is a bad guy? Not everybody will do that one. Often many people may discriminate suitable to themselves. So they will decide. But there should be some criteria. So based on that only the sages went into the truth actually. What is it that I? The I means, so there is this consciousness of I is there. So this is the thing which we'll have to locate, find. This is the thing on which we have to observe. That means on which we have to meditate. So that is what every time we sit into meditation, we try to teach step by step. The master tries not to feed too much into the minds or brains of a person. That could be confusing. The first step, master says, learn just watching. The day a real watch happens, that person, what will he experience? He will experience peace and enjoyment because imagination starts disappearing. With the imagination, thoughts and visions also disappear. No more analyzation. So this is what one has to achieve as a first step, just ability to watch. So the result that it is happening means you will have peace and happiness, a blissfulness. These are the things that enjoyment is there because the mind is becoming quiet. So that is how discrimination has to happen. So till then, the real watching is not happening. You have to think. Why? Because I don't have that enjoyment, that peace is not there, that quietness of the mind is not there. That means the mind is not simply watching, it is getting involved. It is thinking, it is analyzing, it is chatterbox. So that is why this peace is not coming. Craving is happening. That is the loss of happiness. There is no happiness. The constant craving is there. These things have to stop. That's what the master, a real yogi, tries. So the criteria has to be perfect. Otherwise, sometimes to make this attractive, many people don't take up if I talk like this truth. All over the world today, there are people talk about meditation, corporate meditation, this, that. They want performance, they want more creativity, but not the peace. But we are trying to go for peace and the final truth about ourselves. The rest all can be achieved in this world. You can do a business, you can go for a job. For that you don't need a yogi like me. You just need a teacher. A teacher who can teach the technique and tell you meditate like this, then your mind will be more focused and concentrated. Then you can be more creative, you work, and then your performance achievement in the company will be better, you will get more increment. So these are all different things. It is the same meditation, but through the meditation what has to happen is a different thing. Just like I teach how you can use the knife. You can use the knife by cutting vegetables in the kitchen. That's my subject. Somebody might come, no, come on man, you have a knife. This is not the way to use knife. You have to cut somebody's throat. Then you can pick their pocket. Then you can do something. So that is different. You see the discrimination, it is the same thing, same meditation, but for what purpose you want to use it. So that's why many times people come when they see in YouTube and they come and afterwards they discover that I am not the right person for them. I don't teach them how to cut a throat. I just teach cut the vegetables. I just teach achieve that peace. That is the supreme. The rest all can happen. They are all smaller things. But no matter you become creative, you remain focused, you become a genius, you achieve billions of dollars, anything, but peace will not come there. You will not get peace like that. Peace comes only when the mind becomes quiet. And then you will discover about yourself only when you observe, when you become quiet. That is how in this Viveka Choodamani, Adi Shankara talks about discrimination and also the purpose and to which you are going to give importance is very important. Very, very important. Otherwise, the same meditation, you might simply end up becoming another chatterbox and trying to see visions, and then you claim that I traveled to this loka, I traveled to that loka, I saw these angels, I got these experiences. Nothing, they are all illusions. It will all go away afterwards, and it will not give any peace of final truth about yourself. It will not help you to understand that you are eternal. So that is how you will discriminate. Learn to discriminate.
Thank you, Babaji. In your commentary, it says, you said, while engaging in right actions purifies the mind, it cannot lead to direct perception of the ultimate reality. The realization of the ultimate reality is attained through proper discrimination. So when we're meditating and we do right actions and devotion, but you're saying the right actions purifies the mind, but doesn't give us direct perception of the ultimate reality. So there's sort of different levels.
Yeah, that's the master teacher. Say we take, just I ask you to watch, and when you watch, so you achieve peace, enjoyment, something happens, then you would be wondering, then what next? I have heard several people, several very great devotees of Swamiji also talking to me. See, I used to wonder, after this mind becomes quiet, then what? But they don't have patience. You have to wait. When it becomes totally quiet, it really doesn't become quiet or nothing or unconscious. These things doesn't happen. It simply stops its analyzations, but its observation is there. That's when suddenly you realize you are there. You have not disappeared. You have not gone anywhere. And that you will wonder, what is this? No wall, no fortress. It is no planet, no sun, no moon, no earth, no power, nothing. It appears to be simply void. So sometimes some of the people have said that Buddha has told that you will enter a void area. You don't have to enter any void area traveling in this body. People will misunderstand that sentence also, right? You see your mind, it appears to be void. Mind has no physical body, but it is there yet. It appears to be nothing, yet it is something, because this consciousness of existence is there. So that is where then you focus on that. Either it automatically happens. If your wisdom is good, then suddenly you will notice the moment your mind becomes totally quiet by watching, it gives up all thoughts and visions. Then you will realize, this is here. This is the Atman. This is what the masters told. This is what me, the I is coming. That's where the I is coming. Then you abide by it. Then your attention you put, you being there. You try to abide in that consciously, not in any other way. It is you yourself. You have to remain in yourself. This point you have to understand, because mind is a pure consciousness, appears to be void. When thoughts and visions all disappear, it simply appears to be void. Well, void means we have developed different meaning in our mind. An empty space where there is nothing. And in that surface, any matter object can pass through. So these are some of the definitions we heard from childhood in schools. We read all these things. But here, this is the speciality. It appears to be void, and any object can pass through its surface, but it is not simply an empty space. It is a pure consciousness of existence. That means this is something. This is an eternal something. It is holding the universe in its womb, means. Like your mind is just now holding hundreds of characters and stories in its womb. The mind has created. A person comes and runs and sits on a horseback and runs, sits on an aircraft and flies. This is all happening in your mind. Your mind is holding them. It is the creation. But what your mind itself is, it appears to be nothing. The rest of all, whatever it creates, appears to be something always. That's how the illusion, one gets fooled. Like I tell, when you enter a room or anywhere, the space seldom attracts you. All the pillars, chairs, fans, light, this, that, and the people sitting, everybody attract you. You try to analyze who is this man, who is this lady, and to whom this gold belongs to. This type of analyzations go happening. You hardly bother about the space because you have decided that is an empty space, just nothing, void. But you will realize the day when Samadhi comes that all these are you only. You are holding this universe in your womb. So that is how discrimination, slowly, application of wisdom, intelligence also has to happen. That's what Adi Shankara talks in that book.
Thank you. So when the mind is silent, that is when we become aware of this self, this supreme consciousness. But that's not realization, that experience. Realization is something
totally
else.
Once for all, the cravings are all abandoned. Then when this mind settles into that, what we are calling as conscious of existence, naturally, effortlessly, once for all, with contentment. After that, there won't be any need that will arise in the imagination. You may eat, you may say yes or no in this world, but in the mind, no yes or no comes. It becomes totally contented. Till then, you have to practice. And a person like us, we would advise, as long as the body is there, keep on practicing till the last moment, so that you don't have to be reborn. You have that peace. Whenever you get time, you practice. You live in this world. You do your business. You do your job. Whatever you want to earn, you earn. But by practicing like this, you can delink the mind from whatever you are doing or you are going to do in this world. So mind doesn't become attached. You will do everything mechanically, but the mind doesn't become attached. Like we are moving in this world, we are traveling, we book tickets, we do this, there. But we try to keep as minimum as possible our activities. We don't get attracted too much into gossiping. I cannot gossip. Any question meaningfully it's asked, we just answer. That's it. And people want to come and sit sometimes. They expect me to tell gossips and I cannot do it. Silently I keep watching. And if they don't like, they get up and then go away. Some people like silence. Then they sit down. They understand the vibrations of sitting with me and they don't want to go away. That is how the discrimination and the final realization happens. Okay, this is the final. Further, it won't go anywhere. Further, final discrimination is when you don't need anything, you are there. Until this thought arises that you need something, you don't give up. Try to make it quiet and try to focus on the consciousness of existence. That is the discrimination of wisdom, applying the wisdom. Sometimes, often these things a master teaches. That's why a guru-disciple relationship is recommended. Very rarely for any self-realized person, this may occur from inside. That's when people call it as inner guru. So this may come. That realization comes. This is the thing where all I was unnecessarily dashing, banging, heading. It's here. It's me. So that can occur for some. But for some, if the master guides, it becomes very easy. They need it. That is recommended. That's what Adi Shankara tells. Then finally, as a guru, I have told you what I experience. Now you also practice and experience the truth, and then you give your opinion of what it is. That day I will understand that you are realized.
Thank you. So you said that discrimination means applying the wisdom of right thinking. You refer in the book to right thinking. But you also said, generally, people who are educated in this world are used to knowing everything through their intelligence. So you make a difference, I think, between this right thinking and this sort of worldly intelligence.
Yeah, these two things are two different aspects. One is you apply your wisdom by observing, then you understand, then you gain the first-hand knowledge. You read somebody's experience and you read somebody talking, and then when you see an object also, you are in a rush to imagine. You don't have patience to watch further. Like astronomically, every now and then we get to see the news. They get excited. They have discovered a new planet, a new exoplanet, a new this, new that. In the latest news also, I saw in the Milky Way, some object has been noticed which is not a planet. They are all excited. They want to rush to a conclusion. They want to name it. They want to do this, try to find out. So that is done in a rush where actual intelligence doesn't get applied. Keenly watch and observe what it is. If you do on any object also, it can take you to the ultimate truth. That's why if you remember, previously in my teachings I have told, like we have great respect for science, technology, all these things. We have done great things, great achievements has happened, inventions, discoveries. But what I try to say is, through these subjects, we have been able to explain a nearest cause or an immediate cause at the most, not the root cause. It is still inconclusive, because when you go to the root, you become one with it. There is nothing else to explain there. So that you can try to do. Otherwise, all the scientific things could go into confusions. Like, from the seed, this tree is grown. From this tree, the seed will come. A sapling will come. Again, that sapling will go into tree. Where is the source of this tree? You are stuck there. Hen out of egg, egg out of hen. Then you are stuck there. But then now you apply your wisdom. If you skillfully withdraw one of them, then that process stops. Then we might be able to get the root cause of what it is. How did this happen? So you withdraw the egg, don't allow the egg to hatch and the hen to come out. Because you may not be able to stop the hen from giving the egg. That's very difficult in this world. So then you withdraw the egg. Then it will not give way to hen. Then that process stops. Then afterwards you have to observe further. Okay, from where did this come? In science, genius people went to neutrons, protons, this, that, And when they couldn't understand anything, they called it as ether, something like that. So that needs to be observed. Finally, when you are able to discriminate, if that is the ultimate truth, anything that is ultimate truth, further that nothing should exist which is holding that truth. Then the thing which is holding that truth would become the truth. Like everything, space is holding the entire universe. That means you apply your wisdom, space must be the ultimate truth. Space itself is the divinity which we are thinking, not that the divine is in the space all pervaded. That word also is said to give a proper understanding, because for space we have understood it as an empty space, just nothing. But this itself is the ultimate truth, everything. It appears to be nothing. As Vasishtha tells in Yoga Vasishtha, it is there and it is not there. It exists and it doesn't exist. So you look at the space, it exists. It also doesn't exist. Nothing, you don't see anything from your naked eyes. You cannot say anything, you cannot talk to the space. Then you apply some wisdom. When your mind is able to get in touch with this world, that is through the brain. That means brain has this ability to get in touch with the truth. But not everything is not known now. Answer is inconclusive. It could be quite complicated matter. Because that is the only thing which has given us as the consciousness. Otherwise, as simply a mind, we are just nothing. We won't see this world if there is no brain. So that's when death to the body happens. Because the brain is there, that brain helps us to know about this world. But to know about space, we don't need this brain. We have to go back, detach from the brain's reflections. So then we settle in the self finally. There the knowing ends. No further anything to know. So like that you discriminate, applying your intelligence and know the truth. Then you are able to teach a little bit clue. But the final truth cannot be given, as this is the language even Vasishtha talks to Sri Rama when he talks about that ultimate amazing wonder, what it is. And Vasishtha tells you only when you achieve the settling in that truth finally, then you will know, or at that time if I tell, you will understand. That means if I am self-realized, if you become self-realized, then if I discuss with you about that truth, then you will understand, not now. Or you may understand on your own, you may not even need me to tell you. But you have to go to that practical practice. That's what the observation.
Thank you, Babaji. It also, in the commentary, talks about what's necessary in order to achieve realization, like born as a human with a longing for liberation. But one of the things it also says is to obtain the protecting company of the great ones. What do they mean by the protecting company of the great ones?
That is what is known as the word Satsanga, company of the great ones. Your brain gets tuned into that truth. Otherwise, you see, the brain is in touch with the world. Often it gets attracted to this world in billions of ways. So much is there in this world. It's like a big show. It's such a big show that so much is there to attract. Not even a moment it will allow you to bother about your real self. So if you are in the company, like an old man like me, you be in my company, I will talk about the self, about ultimate truth, about mind, consciousness. I don't know anything else of this world. So then your mind also tries to understand when you listen to all this truth. in this Viveka Choodamani book and the commentary that I have written, then you will start wondering, so much is there to know about ourselves, our own mind, about the divinity, about the ultimate truth, about the corruptions that happens in the mind, and why the human birth is so precious. That Swamiji also used to talk. Swamiji used to tell that after 55,000 life cycles, you go into every species and then you get a chance to be born as a human being, where you have a well-developed brain, you are able to discriminate, you are able to wonder why this is there, why this is not there, why should it be like this. So this is the discrimination. See, if somebody is controlling you, so you have a discrimination power. Why I should be under the control of somebody? Why I should be a slave? Why can't I be an independent person? Why can't I think what I want? Why can't I eat what I want? Why this person dictates me? You can do only this. So that type of thinking comes. Independence achieving. Total security. Nobody should be able to threaten us. Why I feel being threatened? Why I need this? Do I really need it? If I don't need it, nobody can threaten. Like that you discriminate. So these are the discrimination. When your wisdom application happens, that's what you will start wondering. See, you are born into a particular religion and so many things are taught through that religion. In the beginning, you pick up all sorts of things. It could be simply superstitious, simply not proper knowledge, because those people who are half-baked beings, doesn't have the ultimate knowledge of the truth, they will put rules according to themselves. No, you have to do worship like this. No, you have to offer only sweets to God. You cannot offer savory things. And you believe. You become 50 years, 60 years, you start thinking, no, quietly you will cook some sweets and then offer to God, because you are afraid God might get annoyed if we don't offer sweets. If the Guru says, no, you can offer anything that you are eating, you offer him savories. He wants your mind's attention, your bhakti, your shraddha. He doesn't mind if you give him a savory or whatever. No, you won't listen, because you have been brainwashed since childhood. You will cook some sweet and then offer it to God, then you will feel satisfied. Oh God, I don't know what this Guru keeps telling sometimes. If we listen, if God gets annoyed, I don't want God get to annoyed. Let him have his sweets. So you have to cross the barrier of these religious beliefs and then try to discriminate what the actual truth is, why this is being given, why this religion was given to us, what are the right practices of a religion. So if you understand the purpose of that, then you will simply follow those right exercises which are really helpful to control your mind, to purify your mind. The rest are all simply just like that. You can turn anything. You can do this, or you can, if you have a campfire, you do arati. If you don't have a campfire, no problem. You have an incense sticks, you do with that. If you don't have incense sticks, no problem. You will understand you need mind. So that is how the wisdom and discrimination has to appear. Then you cross the barrier, then you, if you are lucky, you will find a right Guru who will guide you, insist again and again, insist. That's when you try to think there is some value in this. My God, what all we were thinking since childhood, what all we thought. Then you will feel so enlightened, or you will feel so independent. Now you worship God the way you like. You simply love God. Go and hug the idol. You just do a pranam to God and you will feel so happy and at peace, liberated. There is no bondage that you have to offer only this gold, otherwise God will not be happy. You have to offer $500, otherwise God will not be happy. All this will collapse and you are free, liberated. So that is how it will lead you towards liberation, this discrimination.